Welcome to Trump Breaking News Network, your daily source for up-to-date news on the political scene of Donald Trump, his presidency, American politics and conspiracies. Please subscribe to receive notice of our daily updates. Also share with your friends and your social media. We encourage you to like our videos and give your comments.
This is TBNN.
Former Chiefest U.S. Attorney explains why Mueller's ugly probe is on track to clear Trump. Unlike the mainstream media, the Gateway Pundit has long believed the chief objective of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation is to nullify the results of the 2016 presidential election. In fact, while both liberals and conservatives declared the honorable, highly respected, Mueller was the correct man to lead the Russia probe, this website expressed deep reservations about the special counsel's character and history as a prosecutor. As former chiefest U.S. Attorney Andrew C. McCarthy explains, Mueller's investigation might be ugly, but it's on track to clear Trump. McCarthy writes in the New York Post. We must remain mindful, though, that Mueller has so far issued 3 sets of charges, the one against Flynn, another false statements charge against low-level Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos, and the indictment of Paul Manafort and Richard Gates. None of these allege any wrongdoing by President Trump or any collusion between his campaign and the Kremlin. Of course, it's entirely possible Mueller is exploring whether there is a basis for the president's impeachment. That is a political remedy, not a legal one. The protections of criminal due process would not apply, so it would theoretically be easier to prove high crimes and misdemeanors than ordinary criminal offenses. But it's a very long shot. The higher likelihood is that the Mueller investigation, despite all the reasonable suspicions about its partisanship, will end up exonerating the president. At this point, it's anything but clear that investigators who have political points of view have let them infect Mueller's investigation. The Strzok controversy and other indicia of bias should be aggressively investigated by Congress. But President Trump, and the rest of us, would be well advised to wait for the facts before drawing conclusions. For those watching Mueller's every move, McCarthy is a must-read. Mueller had Washington spooked a day before Halloween after indicting former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort, along with his business partner Rick Gates, on 12 charges, ranging from tax fraud to conspiracy to launder money. While the mainstream media screamed bloody murder, a clear-eyed McCarthy expertly broke down why Mueller's charges against Manafort appeared shaky and overcharged. The offense of failing to register as a foreign agent, count 10, may be a slam dunk, but it is a violation that the Justice Department rarely prosecutes criminally. There is often ambiguity about whether the person's actions trigger the registration requirement, so the Justice Department's practice is to encourage people to register, not indict them for failing to do so, McCarthy wrote. McCarthy concludes his op-ed asserting Mueller's overzealousness paves the way for President Trump to deny the special counsel's investigation has actionable collusion case. This could be a boon for President Trump, argued the former prosecutor and National Review fellow. If the political and media elite believe the American people will sit by as President Trump is removed from office, especially as the alleged crimes of Hillary Clinton, James Comey and Andrew McCabe go unpunished, the ensuing shock will pale in comparison to what they experienced on November 8, 2016.
This has been the Trump Breaking News Network. Please subscribe and share to stay up to date on the latest news about our president. Be informed.